Hi Libra, how are you doing? This is Kate. You're on the Collective Soul Tarot channel. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to your tarot reading. Okay, let's find out what it is that Archangel Michael and Holy Spirit want you to know today. Let's see, this one's flipped up, so some other ones, but there's only two. I thought there was three, but we got Spring and Sanctuary. Spring and Sanctuary. Well, it is the season, right? The growing season, you know, to plant a seed, a new idea, a new perspective, a new way of thinking, something new, starting something new, a new beginning. Sanctuary is just like a space that you can call your own. It's all about safety and security, I do believe, but I will read it from the book when that time comes. I'll get the rest of the cards out first, okay? All right, so let's find out what Major Arcana wants to speak to this Archangel Michael. The World. Okay, so that's end of one phase, the beginning of another. So the end of something that you're going to be able to, plant and begin something else. Begin growing something else. It says, Oz was always our friend. When he was here, he built for us this beautiful emerald city. Now he is gone. He has left the wise scarecrow to rule over us. Oh my God. Awareness and understanding. Wise scarecrow. Okay. Yeah. Let's get some clarification for that. Awareness and understanding. That's a new perspective. A new way of thinking. A new way of looking at something. Okay, and then understanding why. You know, and that's why you can close out the world, close out that chapter to start something new, because you've grown, you've gained some kind of wisdom, insight that is allowing you to kind of put your foot down on a slightly different path, or maybe even a majorly different path than what you were on for your new chapter in life. We have the High Priestess. Wow. Okay. That's all about, staying silent, right? You have secrets about this wisdom. The wisdom is secrets. Usually people who are tuned into their intuition, they get a sense of, a knowing of, or whatever of something that's otherworldly, that is it's kind of hard to put into words in everyday English language kind of thing. To communicate a wisdom, something known. Like, let's say, how do you know? Well, I just know. I don't know how I know. I just know. And that's your secrets, is that you know something. You know that something works out in a way that it just seems to be the way things work in this world because of what is a spiritual law kind of thing. Like, like attracts like, that spiritual law, where, whatever it is that you put out vibrationally with your thoughts and your feelings, your heart feelings, your emotions about that, and you attract that likeness to you. Things like that. People, they don't necessarily want to believe that because it's a lot. Oftentimes we end up having experiences that we don't want to have, and for them to believe that they were the ones who created that experience to happen, they don't want to take ownership of it. They don't. They'd rather project it at someone else's, or it's just coincidence, or it's this, that, and the other thing. But you know differently. You know that there is a reason why you are, or people are experiencing what they're experiencing, because it has everything to do with the quality of thought that then produces the emotion, which is the vibration that goes out to the universe, that the universe responds to in like, right? Okay, so let's find out from the Magic Cottage, from the hare, the wise hare, what his story is about Sanctuary. I know what the spring is already. I just read it the other day. And it's just about a new beginning. This is the season to begin again. Sanctuary. Okay, so, oh gosh, you've caught me quite unaware. Well, isn't that interesting? This card is about awareness and understanding, the World card. With your understanding, your High Priestess understanding is why things happen, right? You have a better understanding than what most people do. Well, don't worry. Excuse me, no need to leave. Please stay if you want to. The thing is, despite how this may look, and I admit it does look quite clodabust at first sight, I wasn't actually using the facilities. He's on the toilet. Okay, in the way you might expect. I'll let you in on a secret. Well, that's a High Priestess thing too. You've stumbled across one of my all-time most sastaculous places. I've started using that as an expression because I've read it so often in this book, sastaculous. Now, when I talk to my daughter and she says something that's really kind of cool, I'll say, that's sastaculous. She probably hasn't got a clue what I'm saying. To you, it might be a water closet, that's a bathroom, and to me, at times, it is. But mostly, it is that most magical of things, my sanctuary, in the toilet room, right? That's the only place that you really can lock the door and have peace of mind and some privacy that people sort of respect. Maybe not necessarily your kids would respect it, but if you're saying, you know, I'm on the toilet and the door's locked, and they're saying, you know, Mom, open the door, Mommy, open the door, whatever, you can say, you go away because I've got business to do here. And they will understand that. They will understand why you're there. Even if you're not there to do your business, you're there just to get some privacy and alone time or whatever, but they will think that you're there to do your business, right? And so they might just leave you alone. It depends on how young they are. What could be more crumlush than to settle down and while an hour away reading the Daily Bugle, safe and free from all interruptions. Indeed, should anyone knock on the cottage front door, Ayani, this person's name. Ayani, my dripple, okay, his dripple's name, Ayani, my dripple, will answer it telling whoever it is that I'm currently unavailable. I'm fairly certain she thinks that as an elderly hare, dripple must be like a mother or grandmother or something. An elderly hare, I most likely have problems that no wand can fix, hence the large amount of time I sometimes spend in what is certainly the smallest, but to me, most magical room in the cottage. Maybe has bowel problems, I don't know. Occasionally, she'll see me take a bottle leaf brew in here and raise her eyes, knowing it could be quite some time before I reappear, most often to a steaming bowl of nif soup with extra frippleberries, which she then tells me can move mountains. Constipation, I guess. So it's sure to work on you. I haven't the heart to tell her I've just spent a blissful hour catching up on the latest news from around the Dale, then thinking about days past and days ahead without any interruptions whatsoever. So he really wasn't in there to do his business at that particular time. A sanctuary, Matlock, is wherever you choose to find it. Chatsworth, my master once told me. I guess his name is Matlock the hare that's telling a story, and his master's name is Chatsworth. I go and sit by the brook where the only thing that can find me is magical quiet. I found the brook, so its crumlush peace could find me. For me, it has always been in here, a place to shut the door on the world, recharging as it spins on for an hour without me. As a young apprentice, Chatsworth used to tease me, knowing full well exactly what I was doing. Letting all those glopped worries and problems out, are you? He said. He'd laugh through the door. Take as long as you want, Matlock. I'm just popping down to the brook for an hour. I never tried to find him there, knowing I must respect his sanctuary just as he respected mine. Now I'm just about finished in here and feel ready to take on the world once more. But please, stay if you want to. I can bring you a brew And there are some very good articles on the curious habits of hares in the paper. Recognize and respect both your own sanctuary together with those of others around you, as each of us need to escape at times. So it's really just, in short, although that was long, in short, it's just like you need to be able to have a space, maybe a time, where you can sit down and become creative, you know? To start planting new ideas into your world from your mind, you know, from what you are wishing, you know, desiring to create or to reach as a goal in your life. Okay, let's get a wild unknown archetype for all of this. We have the shapeshifter, number 15. The shapeshifter. Can't really tell what it is. Okay, shapeshifter. We have got 15. That's 3. That's 22. And 19. 16. Shapeshifter. Okay, shapeshifter says the ultimate shapeshifter works undercover in service of the greater good. The diminished shapeshifter becomes a people pleaser. Okay, so there's good and bad. Upright, not, you know, reverse. Upright is a vibrant, adaptive, humorous person. Okay. Says here the shapeshifter is related to the mask. Notice if these cards come up together in one reading. Hey. Sorry guys, my cat was doing something and it wasn't funny. Okay, so notice if their cards come up together in one reading. If so, you are in the realm of heavy theater, illusion, and possibly deception. Okay. So the trickster, the shapeshifter is the trickster, the elusive one, the formless. The shapeshifter has a love of theater, games, and trickery. Its energy appears as one thing, only to reveal a more complex story below the surface. The shapeshifter is within all of us to some degree. It is a side of ourselves that is slippery, non-committal, and experimental, and longs to dismiss the rules. No, I did say that. Didn't I say something about that? That we don't want to we don't want to take accountability, take responsibility for why we do things. That's right. I was talking about the high priestess. Why things happen to us. Yeah, okay, so I'll say that again. The shapeshifter is with all of us to some degree. It is a side of ourselves that is slippery, non-committal, and experimental and longs to dismiss the rules. Yeah, those rules don't apply to them. You know, those all of us who like to project instead of taking responsibility. We need its energy to adapt to the ever-changing landscape of our existence, because the energy is of being experimental, right? And kind of pushing the limits, you know, like pushing the limits so that, or the rules, right? Pushing the rules so that you don't stay so limited and restricted, kind of thing. When the shapeshifter card appears, it's important to imagine you are looking at life through a kaleidoscope rather than a single focused lens. At any moment, the scene may shift, revealing a more enchanting vision than you imagine. Be wary, though, as the allure of the kaleidoscope can leave you exhausted and yearning for solid ground. There's your sanctuary. There's your sanctuary. You needing some, you know, like real, like certainty, right? Can lead you yearning for solid ground. Dancing long-term with the shapeshifter requires a central pillar of integrity that links us back to our center. Yeah, if you're going to dance with the idea of pushing the limits and and not always staying within the norm. If you want to be that kind of the outside the box thinker, you're going to need to realize that it's important that you're doing it from pure intentions, from your core, your inner core. And the same with other people that you may be working with or, you know, engaging with on a regular basis. If they're that kind of people that you just feel as though they don't believe that the rules or the laws pertain to them, and then they never take accountability or whatever, so they're kind of like impulsive and a bit reckless. So you might have somebody in your life like that, if this is not speaking about you. So the shapeshifter is within all of us, of course, but it's a trickster, elusive one, and it's formless. So when this card appears, it's important to imagine you are looking at life through a kaleidoscope rather than a single focus lens. Yeah. So you need to keep your mind open and realize that there's perspective, your perspective and another person's perspective and another person's perspective, and so forth and so on. That whatever you see or believe or know is not necessarily what someone else is going to see, believe, and know. And when you are in that frame of mind, even though you know something and you feel it is the truth, what happens is that when you live from your integrity, your center, you know, you stay centered, you're saying, okay, that's fine, you know, it doesn't matter to me. Even if it's your kid, right? It doesn't matter to me that they don't see things the way I see things, that they don't believe what I believe, that they would argue with me. It's okay. Everybody's allowed, right? Everybody's has a right to their own ideas and opinions, things like that. As long as they're not, you know, even if they're crossing the line and being nasty and just, you know, reticent, whatever, it's still like there's nothing you can do about it, even with your kid. Well, you can't spank it out at them. You can't, you know, people do, right? You can't spank it out of them. You can't make them stand in the corner forever, or you can't punish them forever. Yeah, you could try, but eventually that kid's going to be old enough and big enough to be on its own, and it's not going to be under our authority anymore, which means it's going to eventually adopt its own perspective, right? And there's be nothing we can do about it, nothing at all. So the best thing is to accept that, and we realize that when you're in the High Priestess energy, you realize that you know what you know, but you also know that you're not pushing it on anyone else, and that and if someone else disagrees, that's okay. It's okay, because you know what you know. And however you know and understand that, that's how you're going to experience your world. Because we each have our own bubble, right? Our own little world. That's how we will experience our world. So people who more closely kind of synchronize with our own thoughts and beliefs are going to be, there'll be people like that more readily available to us, in the sense that we will be we'll be attracting and spending time around people who are more either like-minded or at least open-minded. Okay. We have the Queen of Cups. This is you, Libra. Queen of Cups. Nine of Swords. Oh, okay. Page of Cups. Two of Swords. Oh, Cups and Swords. Three of Swords. Oh my goodness. Four of Cups. Yeah, still Swords and Cups. The Empress. Major Arcana. The Star, another Major Arcana. Five of Swords. Now let's watch. The Five of Pentacles will come out. I'll tell you why. Eight of Pentacles. Seven of Swords. Another sword for the seven. King of Wands. And the Fool. The Tower and the Queen of Swords and the Ten of Swords. Yeah. Well, we'll see. You got the Queen of Swords behind the Tower here. It may be turning you into a Queen of Swords. Someone who seeks their truth. Follows their truth. You know, waves your sword of truth, like you're cutting through the bull straight to the truth, and that's how you operate with people. So you're a Sagittarian. And how do I know that? Oh, because I am Sagittarian, Libra. I'm Sagittarian, like we cut, we cut whatever we don't want or believe in, we cut it away, it's gone. And as we're moving forward, whatever we see, we believe, and whatever we believe, it's got to be the truth. So therefore, don't give me any bull, right? Just tell me the truth, and you'll know if it aligns with your truth. Because as a Queen of Swords, since I'm talking about her, we're bringing her out as a Queen of Swords. You will be very discerning, like, okay, this is what I see is going on, this is what I believe, blah, 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 blah. And the other person that you may be conversing with, communicating with, say, well, this is what I see, and blah, 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 and this is what I believe is going on. And you go, okay, well, I can get that, I understand that. And that's where you say, as a high priestess, that's fine. You got a right to your own opinion. It doesn't align with mine, that's okay. But this is how you're not necessarily going to change your belief just to align with someone else's. You'll be like discerning all the time whether or not that their perspective aligns with yours enough. If it doesn't, and yours is so in tune with your perspective, your knowingness, right, your intuitiveness, then you don't discount that person, but you say, I'm so glad you told me your perspective, thank you very much, and then you leave it at that. Don't say anything more like, but I don't believe it, or you're wrong, or or anything like that, right? High Priestess doesn't do that. Empress doesn't do that. Okay, so spring will be either the time of season, year, whatever for you. In the southern part of the southern hemisphere of the world, they're going into spring. They're in spring. We in the northern are going into winter. So it's either like Libra, something's happening now for you, depending on where you live, or it's going to come up, or it's just metaphoric because it can be either or. Excuse me, metaphoric for you having a new idea, like you're like an empress. You're birthing a new world. You're opening up to being unrestricted with these limited, small beliefs that have been holding, holding the collective, holding society, holding just the zeitgeist, just holding it in a restricting way, because people are not readily available to see something a different way. But you are, Libra. You're opening up to that, or have opened up to that. And you are now the Queen of Cups in an energy of self-love, of course, self-love, love for others, being vulnerable. So something came about that happened for you, that you shared your heart, and it led to heartbreak, right? Led to heartbreak. Somebody had come along and said they wanted to offer their heart to you, or an apology, and you're like sitting there with this blindfold on, and your sword's crossing your heart, like protecting it, right? Thinking to yourself, I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know I don't know what to think about this. I don't know what to do about it. I'm just going to sit on the fence for a while, because you're still trying to heal your broken heart. And you may be like, this person's kind of like napping, right? And they're kind of peering at the 3 failed. And this doesn't necessarily mean you had 3 failed relationships. It's just that it just represents failed relationship. But there's a new one on the horizon that you're just not seeing. Maybe you do see it. but it's coming in for you. And it's like it's opening up a brand new world for you with the World card, the Spring. But you had to spend some time in order for you to become aligned, which the Empress is definitely Master Manifestor and is aligned with their vortex. Their vortex, you know, the vortex of all things that you've ever wanted. Things and experiences you've ever wanted is in your vortex. In the spiritual realm, in the globulus, I keep thinking globulus, it's in the unseen form, right? The unseen form, the no form. And when you're manifesting, it's starting to coalesce into more and more and more of form, to the point where it's so formed that it plops right into your existence, right into your experience, and then like, you brought that in, you manifested that. And it's the same thing, because that's a like attract like rule. It's the same thing if we end up coalescing, attracting to us something we don't want to experience. There it is, because we've been focused on it too long and had too many emotional, angst about it, that we actually end up bringing something into our life again, like another relationship, for example, that where the last one was karmic and you learned from it, maybe you didn't. If let's say you didn't, and you took your baggage with you into another relationship, the chances are that one is going to fail too. Because if we don't learn our lessons from the karmic opportunity of a relationship, then we end up holding like the baggage, the debt, the karmic debt of that, for why it went wrong in the first place, and even before that relationship. Any karma you're bringing to each relationship, we take it to the next one if we don't learn a lesson that then frees us from it. Okay, the pain, though, the pain that you go through is what is paying that karmic debt off. So, if you got a huge financial debt, right, it's going to require a lot of work. Unless you get real lucky and someone plops a few $1,000s or however much you owe into your bank account or on your front doorstep, you're going to have to work a lot, and work to the bone kind of thing. You're going to be working hard to try and pay off that debt, and it could be for many years. It's the same idea. It's a debt, and when we have karmic debt, if we're going to pay it off, we pay it off with pain. It's like working hard is painful. We're going to be paying it off with pain, especially when it's coupled with the number of years it's going to take to pay off the debt, working hard 5 days a week or more. Yeah, so then the Four of Cups, right? And then you've got this Empress energy. You go in and out of the Empress energy, but the Empress, when you align with your vortex, which is like I liken it to like the mansion in the kingdom, right? Or the room in the mansion, right? That God's mansion has many rooms. One of those rooms is for each one of us. It's like the storehouse, or it's kind of like the Akashic records, or it's just like it's a storehouse. It's a storehouse of everything that you want, not anything that you don't want. Everything that you want, it's there. We just have to open up our mind and find peace and tranquility, calm in our heart, so that whenever we open up our mind to think, it's going to create thoughts that bring out the best in us, the heart, bring the heart out of us, where we're sharing it vulnerably on our sleeve, not afraid to do that. That's when we align with our vortex, or that treasury, and it opens up, because you've opened up. Vulnerability opens up, and it starts pouring into your life what the things that we all deserve to experience, because they're all good things. We all deserve to experience, but these ones will be unique to you for the most part. So you are opening up and aligning to it. And see, here we go. We got the Five of Swords. You're going to do whatever you need to do. That's where we leave it off for the future. The future is usually the cards on the back of the deck. We're leaving off with the future with, we don't need to see that one. Five of Swords, you're going to be doing whatever you need to do, and then you got the working hard card. You have promised to yourself that you're not going to stay closed off forever. You're going to open back up again. Even if you haven't done it right now in your mind, Libra, you're going to. That's what the cards are saying. You're going to. You're going to find a place where you can, let your hair down and be and do whatever it is that you want to be and do in your own private space and time. You are going to allow yourself to be, to push the limits, and by allowing others to push the limits. That's really what it comes down. Nobody has come into this life, on this planet, to push their agenda onto another person. Not at first, they haven't. When every new baby comes in, of course, we get that nailed into us by people who've got those problems. Our parents and they were raised the same way. They're raised to push agendas, right? So, and naturally that's going to happen to us if our parents if it was done to them. So, but we're to learn to say, okay, agendas were pushed onto me, but that doesn't mean it's right, and it doesn't mean I have to keep going that direction. Like living my life like that, pushing my agenda on other people. So you should, this other person, right, in the shapeshifter energy, you should behave like this, you shouldn't do this, and you shouldn't do that, and these are my expectations, you need to live by my rules, my law, and this, if you're under my roof, this, that, and the other thing, right? I'm not saying you let your kids run you amok, not at all. They're under your roof, yes. They got to follow your rules, but the rules are going to be fair, and they're going to be about safety and morals, right? Doing the right thing. Okay, so you got these other people who are not aligning with your ideas, let's say, and so you're going to allow them. You're going to accept that other people are like this because, you were probably like this before you awoken to the reality that that there is a different way of looking at the world, different way of thinking. That is the way that's going to open you up to the goodness that this world, that coming into this world was about. It was about to come into this world. What it's about is to come into this world and, grow to overcome anyone else's agendas and obstacles and challenges, to overcome that and still be who you really are on the inside and continue manifesting all good things, because we're here to experience wonderful, beautiful things that are in form. Because when we're in soul form, lack of a better word, when we're in the soul phase of whatever, there's no form. Like what a soul creates is love, is the experience, not the experience, but just the essence of love. Because experience is for the world, it's for the universe, it's for the dream. But to have the essence of love, and it just naturally vibrates out from each soul. And there's really no each soul, there's just the one, right? So as all of us is one, we that's all we do all day long. And there's no days, there's no nights. That's what we do. We just emit our essence of love. That's what we do when we're not in form. But when we're in form, we get to do other things with our power to create beautiful things, or not. Things that we don't want. We still have that power to create things we don't want. But when we start getting our mind right about things, which is what the High Priestess does, and this one does, the Empress, when we get our mind right, we realize that everybody's here to do what they need to do to overcome. And whether they overcome or not is not my business. My business whether or not I'm going to overcome, right? So you're going to be working really, really hard on this to overcome, things that might otherwise lead you off on the wrong footing, wrong path. That you're going to maybe be too reckless, too impulsive. You don't want to be too reckless and too impulsive. Knowing something differently as well. Like I said, we can become very, very wise, but at the same time we want to what do you call it, when you push your religion or truths onto some other people, ostracize something. I don't know. It is like when you're basically preaching, not teaching, but preaching. And that could be being in that shapeshifter energy of being a little bit too reckless and impulsive, pushing the limits a little bit too far, kind of thing. So you don't want to, become someone who is people want to escape from, or you don't want to like sabotage your best efforts, using your wisdom in a way to create the life that you want to experience in your life. King of Wands is that you're going to be taking action. You're going to be opening yourself back up to vulnerability, okay? And you're going to be taking action as the King of Wands and taking a leap of faith. That is definitely the decision to take a leap of faith, to take action and take a leap of faith, to bring the house down. To bring the house down on anything that would hold you back from experiencing what it is that you came into this life to experience. And I just mentioned it, right? You got to take time for yourself to do that. You get your mind straight on that. If you've somehow kind of kind of went off the beaten path, straight off the beaten path a bit, you want, and your path isn't beaten, by the way. Your path is like, it's going straight up the tree of life. You're going straight up the tree of life, instead of you're veering off this way on this branch, that way on that bridge, only to come back and go up a little bit, but then go, and you're straying off again, with decisions and choices we make. You're becoming somebody who is going to stay on the straight and narrow as best as you can, Libra. You're going to do that. It's going to seem right to you. It's going to seem balanced to you. And Libra's all about balance. It's going to be about you knowing what you know, and everybody else just going to know what they know. And you're not going to model it. You're just going to live your life, which ends up becoming a model for others if they so choose to watch or want to know how you became so calm and peaceful. And experiencing the good life now, because you've opened yourself up to your vortex, the wish fulfillment, the wish, that every wish that you've had, you have aligned yourself with that world, that vortex, that parallel world that all of us have it. Okay, so this is what I see is going on with you, Libra. You are definitely closing out a chapter of not being in alignment to being in alignment in the best way that you can. Opening up your world, because you are opening your heart back up from having been, where somebody had offered you love and maybe retracted it or just broke your heart and made you sit on the fence for a while, feeling disappointed and despondent, brokenhearted, right? But you decided, I'm stepping it up, and I am going to, it could be that you're also somebody's wife or spouse, but you're stepping it up. You're going to see this whole hardship, okay, this whole emotional hardship as a lesson learned, karmic debt paid off. Now you're going to be building up dharma, which is the good stuff, right? The good stuff. Building dharma. You're raising yourself, your vibration. That's how you become aligned with your vortex. You raise your vibration because you've opened your heart back up again. I hope this makes sense to you, but you're going to be working hard. You're going to do whatever you need to do. You're not going to slip into the energy of trying to make others fall into line with you. your ideas and stuff with the Seven of Swords. King of Wands, you're taking action, you're taking a leap of faith, you're allowing all of that to come down because you want to start a brand new foundation. You're building a new foundation on what it is you know to be your truth, and this is what you've begun. Queen of Swords, in the Queen of Swords energy. Queen of Swords is a beautiful person, a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful person. They're not so black and white as the King of Swords. They are in touch with their emotions, but they don't allow their emotions to lead them to truth. Okay, does that make sense? You don't, as a Queen of Swords, you don't allow your emotions to cloud things, because you know, Swords about clarity, right? You don't allow your emotions because you're seeking, you know, you're back in your heart again, but you're Queen of Cups with the Queen of Swords energy. You got a heart, and you use it when it's appropriate, but you also seek clarity, truth above all else. And because of your heart, you're discerning. Hope that was helpful. Take care, Libra.